First, we set the main bearings in and put the main caps on, torque them to spec. Then, using a dial bore gauge, we check the clearance of the bearings. There should be about 3 thousandths clearance. Now we have to install the camshaft. First, we'll start by putting assembly lube on all the lobes and journals of the camshaft while it's partially installed. Once we get the assembly lube on the camshaft, we'll fully install it and rotate it to spread the assembly lube out evenly. Next, we'll set the crankshaft in the engine block before we place the main caps on. Now we'll set the main caps on the engine block and torque them to spec. This particular setup requires 100 foot-pounds of torque on the main studs of the engine. Once we get all the main caps torqued to spec, we will then rotate the crankshaft and make sure that everything spins freely and nothing seems to be binding. Once the crankshaft is installed, we will clean the cylinder bores for insulation of the pistons. We'll set the piston ring compressor down on the engine deck and then using a hammer to slide the piston down into the bore of the block. Once we get one piston in, we'll start the process of degreeing in the camshaft. This particular setup requires 112 degrees center line on the camshaft because this engine will have a blower on it running about 25 pounds of boost at max RPM. Once we get our camshaft degree correct, we will then install all the pistons into the block. As we put the pistons in, we'll torque the connecting rods to spec, and the short block is complete.